it's Brittany. So today's gonna be a dream time video, and today I'm gonna tell you this dream I had not too long ago. It was sometime this year, and I wanna say, I just wanna say that I'm so excited that we're in October because I'm gonna be doing some fun, spooky Halloween videos. So yeah, and um, so yeah, there are some I have in mind, so look forward to that. And I have to say, because now we're in October, I thought why not talk about this one dream I had, which was quite interesting. I mean, it's not scary, but in a way, it's still scary in its own way. So, this dream I had about probably months ago this year, and I had this dream where I was in a movie theater and I'm watching the trailer of what seems like um, a whole new movie, like a whole different take on The Mask. Because, originally The Mask is based on a comic book, but it's very dark and it's very graphic and gruesome from what I've read, from what I've heard about it. And I never read the comic books myself, but I would like to read it just to see how different it is from the movie. But in this dream, I'm just sitting down on the theater seat, and I don't know what movie was going to be playing, but all I know is that I was watching the trailer. And so, from what I can tell, this trailer definitely had very dark vibe to it, to this new Mask movie. And so as I was watching it, I can see some gray, gloomy clouds, and it was very windy. And I see this guy. It seems like one of the actors was playing the main character of Stanley Ipkiss, who becomes the Mask. But this actor in the dream who played the main character, it didn't look like Jim Carrey. And even if it did, it probably would have been maybe a sequel, maybe a better sequel to The Mask, and have been more of a comedic movie with Jim Carrey rather than a dark one. But that's just what I think. So this seemed like a whole new actor playing the role in this very dark version of The Mask. I think to tell the dark story from the comic book. And so, and yeah, because I remember seeing The Mask like when he holds it. So that's what I saw. But of course, in the trailer, it didn't show like how he puts it on. So it just only shows him just picking it up and just holding it, and you see that single shot when he's just holding the mask itself. And at some point, I think, because I think from far he is the mask, but when he is, somehow there's this huge tornado, and it looks terrifying. So of course that part in a way reminded me of Twister, but in a way it had this very dark, unsettling tone to it. And yeah, I remember thinking like, wow, like, okay, I want to see this movie. I want to see how this movie's gonna do, how it's gonna do. Like, I want to see this whole different take on The Mask. So now, of course, the one with Jim Carrey, that is my favorite. I love it, but to see a really dark version, to see, because the comic books itself is very dark and very brutal and graphic and everything, it's like to see that come alive in a very dark, uneasy tone in a whole different movie, far different from the other one, then yeah, I'm just curious to how that one might be. And so yeah, that's how the dream ended. The dream ended where the trailer starts to fade. But of course, you don't. The thing is, I think the one thing they didn't want to give away or show right away was how he looks with the mask on, or you don't hear how he sounds maybe different with the mask on, with his voice or anything. So I think they want to leave fans surprised with that, like how he looks as a mask, his voice, and pretty much everything else. So they did not show that. And so at some point, you do see him as the mask, but like I said, not front, not his face or anything, but only the back. Like from the back of his head to, his back, of course, and the clothes he was wearing. But yeah, it didn't really give anything away. It didn't give any like spoilers away, and it didn't give out anything else that shouldn't been given away too fast. So, and yeah, as soon as you see the tornado, and he's just like standing there, like from a far distance, like watching it then the screen turns to black. The screen starts to fade, and that's how the trailer ended. And so yeah, as the trailer was over, I remember I was still dreaming, so I was like, wow, like okay, I didn't know that they made this whole new movie of The Mask with a much, different dark tone. Like, I had no idea. So I thought, I want to see this. But of course, in a way, I was kind of anxious knowing if I were to go see it, because I know it would be so different from the other one. And I thought, this one's going to be very dark, and I don't know just how far it would go to those extreme graphic uh, things it would show, or things that would be very brutal or gory in any way. So I was kind of nervous, not knowing just how far the movie would go. Maybe just a little bit. I don't know, but but yeah, I just remember thinking, okay, either way, I don't know how this is gonna be. I don't know how it's gonna go, but I would just like to see it for myself. So, and then at some point, the dream was over, and I woke up. And then, of course, when I woke up, I was just like, yeah, I remember I was quite surprised, because I thought, you know what, that actually sounds like a good idea. Like, if someone were to do somewhat of a dark uh, tone to the mask, but maybe do it in a different way where it's not maybe too graphic or too gory, but do it in a different way, then yeah, I think I would go see it. But even if someone were to take it too far, just like in the comic books, then oh boy, wow, it's gonna be rated R for sure, And but I think either way, even if they don't go too far with certain parts or things to show, I think somehow it might be still rated R with the, you know, um, with the language, and everything. So, and maybe with some things here and there that would consider rated R, but still, I don't know. I think, yeah, I think it would. Of course, it would be very different from the other one, but still, it's like, I think even if they were to do that, let's say within 5 years, maybe 10 years from now, if they happen to do a dark version of the mask, I think if they do that, let's say years later, I don't think it's gonna ruin anything for me. I don't think it's gonna ruin the comedy version of the mask for me, because I love that one. So even if they were to happen to do that one day, let's say, like I said, even if it's years from now, it's not gonna ruin it. It's not gonna ruin my the one that I just love with Jim Carrey in it. It's not gonna ruin it for me. And because I know with a lot of people, like for those who grew up watching like Disney movies or some other movies, and yet once they um, find out this origin story of one of their favorite movies and it turns out to be really dark and disturbing, that's a hard that once they find that out, they're even more shocked and disturbed that they're like, okay, now that I know about this story, this dark story of this story that turned into a Disney movie, now this story ruined the movie for me. With me, I would say no. Because even though I know those dark stories on those fairy tales that turned into Disney movies, but still looking back on the origin stories and just how dark and very disturbing they were, it's like no matter how how bad and disturbing it may be, it's like those origin stories does not ruin my favorite Disney movies, because it's like, well, this is different. This is the origin story that was written way back years ago. But since they, with the Walt Disney Studios, since they did happen to change things here and there and say, like I said, because they did change certain things and they happened to make it into a fun, family friendly movie for everyone to watch, then I think that's a good thing, because it's like, okay, yeah, change some things here and there, make it where everyone can watch it, make it into a animated movie. So knowing that those two things are different from each other, then yeah, that's why those dark stories doesn't ruin um, my favorite Disney movies, because I know the difference. Because let's say if they turned those movies, no, those stories into the actual dark story itself, then, well, even then, it still wouldn't ruin anything for those other movies for me. But with me, I'd be like, oh, okay, they shouldn't have done this. Now, nothing will ruin what I love. Like anything that I love about anything, nothing else can ruin it for me, because there are two different things between that. If you know what I mean. And I'm sorry this video is going on for long. But anyway, I'm just saying, nothing, nothing too dark or disturbing can ruin something that I enjoy, something that I just love to watch. Nothing. Because there are two different things. It's like either you can love something that is dark and hate something that isn't, or you can either love something that isn't dark and you hate of what is, so those are two different things. So anyway, I think that's enough of so anyway, I really hope you enjoy this video. So but yeah, there's gonna be some scary, interesting videos throughout this month, and you know and yeah, I'm looking forward to yeah, I'm just really excited for this month. And yeah, so I hope everyone has a great October, because I'm surely gonna make the best of it this month. So yeah, so that's all for today, and I'll see you at the movies.